So today the point is to go a bit more on Java 8 stuff. Yeah. Java 8 streams is a bigger thing. Stream, yeah. This line is important for stream. So actually this program is there. I did not execute, but I was explaining this program more generally. I will copy a miniature version of this to understand both streams and lambda. Such a big program these guys have written. Let me simplify it in front of you guys. Preparing some general material on Cassandra kind of stuff. Cassandra with Java training. Generally, just like that I'm preparing. Maybe sometime later on, who is interested will go. Since Subhash is there, I'm just showing. He is one of the marketing team guy.
Yes, Subhash wants to see why people are not attending. What's wrong with the course?
No, it's not like that.
That's fine, man. Yeah, I told to Syed even before starting itself. Even he said, okay. Because if you do spoon feeding, what will people learn? So with respect to stream example, I want to create stream and lambda example. I want to simplify it so that we just get the simplest thing of this in a program, a complete program which you can learn. So stream is nothing but a sequence you can operate on a list or any Java collection, and then lambda is just an anonymous function. Oh, it's taking time. Stream. I think that is Anjali.
Not me.
Yes, looks like. Hi, Anjali.
Hi.
See, I recognized your Malayalam voice.
It was not me. I was on mute. Not me.
Okay.
Is that somebody else?
The stream and lambda example, just continuing from the last time. This guy has explained if you use some collection, some kind of a collection as a Java 7, the old way, how does it look? And you compare with the new way of Java 8, how does it look? So he has given the various things. Now what I will do, I don't want all this junk because it will just confuse, eliminate empty string, this kind of things I will remove it. Just the basic stuff is good enough. So the program, when it says using Java 7, strings, creating like arrays of list, then get count of empty string using Java 7. You don't need all these things. Get count, no, we don't need this stuff. So this function, the way they have defined is get a count of empty strings using Java 7, the traditional way. Get count of strings with length 3. So this is two programs I would like to keep. Then with respect to the list, instead of all this, let me remove certain functions. You have a list of integers. I will just keep a list of all numbers. That's enough. We don't even need random numbers kind of stuff. Yeah. So till above part, it was Java 7. I'm just putting the same stream example from the tutorials point. Now with respect to the Java 8, so first you will take the list as it is. There is no change. Then first uses of stream and lambda. See this thing? Take the collection, attach dot stream, then filtering whichever is empty. This is anonymous function, which is nothing but our lambda. Then finally one another function just to give the count, which is terminating. That's it. Stream and lambda is done. Now in again Java 8, counting a string of length 3, just like a one-line stuff. So it becomes actually performance-wise, this is not great. But writing the code and speeding up the development, easing other issues for many people, Java 8 is good. But performance-wise, no. That is a debate still going on with many people. Then this is one more application of stream and lambda to create like a list. Instead of counting, you are actually collecting it. You're creating another string. Sorry, two lists. So basically this filtered is nothing but a list. So basically we are creating a final collection. I will remove this merged, all these kind of things we don't need. Then squaring the numbers. So this is the actual function. No. What it is doing, map function is, it's like a map, means map each element in the list. For every I, what we are doing, arrow mark is representation of lambda function, I into I, squaring it. So this is a good thing. This summary statistics is not required. It can confuse. Then we don't need highest numbers, all those things. We'll just, we don't need all this stuff. Parallel processing also not required. First, if you understand the stream, then you can really ask me what is this kind of parallel processing. These functions are for the Java 7 way, means you call the function and then do. And that Java 8 is like single line way. So empty strings and you can pretty much write like a comment. So Ilyas, that guy Hafiz was able to do MySQL programming in his setup. Ilyas? Or maybe he's on mute. Yeah, so Java 7. Still, this Java 7 way is important. It doesn't mean everything Java 8 is going to replace, but still we need to know or understand. We don't need this function since anyway we don't have any code using this, keeping it simplified. Yeah, get some, let it be there. At least it will just take the sum of the numbers. So just simplified this big example from the tutorials point, whatever was there, just to do some very specific things so that you get some idea on usage of few functions. I'm removing the unnecessary stuff which I'm not going to use. Random I'm not using, so I just kept it. You can say Java 8 stream and lambda. And let me write the function name at the start so they can use in the same way. Java 8 stream and lambda dot the same name as class, the function lambda dot Java. So this will be your code name. So that way you can just take it and run. It should work easily. Streams and lambda. Then let me use another site, Balden, for explaining a completable feature. Yeah, some of you are not there in earlier classes, are not sure if you are actually following. Anjali, Askari, Subhash, yeah, you just see the videos from the start.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you might have some doubts. First discuss with Ilyas Ahmad. I'm sure he'll explain very well. But whatever you discuss, you can discuss directly in the WhatsApp group of our Java training thing. If he is not able to tell anything specifically, I'm sure he'll be able to answer 99.99% Amazon reliability. The other thing I can help you. This is pretty much like a Java 8 features. There are so many. These guys have mentioned very few. In this optional we were discussing earlier, and this is for some kind of advanced thing. Only if some of you practice and really have doubts, you can ping me. I don't really want to go deep into this optional kind of thing. Then datetime API also very good. They have got introduced new stuff, Chronos, various things. If you just see the example, I'm sure you'll be able to understand. But they've introduced very well stuff. But typically in interviews and job, you don't use this much because I've not seen much in general. But yes, it has very good abilities, even the base 64. Now what I'm going to discuss is basically in the Java 8, I just wanted to focus on three things: streams, lambdas, and completable feature. This completable feature, before understanding, if you can see the earlier videos of Drive, which I kept. I'll just show the shared folder. I think shared with almost all of you guys. If not, you can ask Subhash or any admin in that WhatsApp group. If you see here, multi-threading, where is multi-threading? Okay, let me change the view. Yeah. So in this session, we are discussing the threading part. And some notes is here. With respect to the multi-threading, there are many ways, but typically from a Java threading point of view, you guys should remember about thread class, runnable interface, the respective example of using the run method. If you just see the standard Java multi-threading, you will see the few programs, very basic programs. You can just take a look. And then callable is something. Once you look into very basic aspects about threading, or you can just watch that threading video, which she talks about hash map recap with threading. You can just watch this day 5 session 1. That's enough. Then you can just look into this completable feature, because sometimes interviewers don't even understand completable feature. But sometimes people really want to know if you heard about completable feature. So let's discuss about completable feature now. So before we get into the completable feature of Java 8 thing, any questions you guys have?
You know, in the above example, can you go up, please?
Yeah, just a minute. Oh, you're already trying to run this?
Yeah. I tried a few things over here. You know, when they create an array list as, you know, there is a list. Yeah, stop there. You know, why don't they use the word new over there? List of string.
No, you can use it. See, actually, this list, I mean, I will not. Okay, maybe let me open the Eclipse. That is also you can do. Actually,
you don't
this
need to
is
use
a
the new
lazy
keyword.
stuff. Even I do that only. Not only me, many people do that way. Let me show you what I meant. If you took the elliptical thing, is your question like, why don't we use this first array way new and then convert? Is your
Yeah,
that your
exactly.
question?
Yeah, they use a new keyword at some times, but when it comes to certain times, yeah, over here they
No,
haven't
actually,
used.
see this. This is a certain thing in a Java util package.
Okay.
Let's see this arrays. This is actually for this purpose. Which purpose? It's just to ease the programmer's difficulty. If you see arrays, what is this arrays? It's a
class.
It's a concrete class. So basically, what these guys have done in Java, just to help lazy people like me and many others, you don't need to create an array altogether. You do everything in a single line, so that you want to define some stuff with a static values. You do like this. So
Okay.
actually, this is a list. Sorry, this is an array, integer array.
Right.
This is as if like you say int this way, some name, say name1 equal to new. You say like what is that? Int of some say 10 values.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
But
then
why don't they use the word new over there? Why is not the keyword new coming before arrays?
I'll tell you. Then let's understand this way. What is new doing in Java? Actually, I forgot about C# coding. This new is a stuff which is there in C++. In C, if you want to allocate a memory, something called malloc, memory alloc or C alloc, calloc. And then if you want to remove the memory, you just need to use the word free, dealing with pointers. Very tricky, and people used to do memory leaks. Then C++. To allocate new memory, you need to use new. And to delete a memory, you need to use delete. Actually, there is some improved versions of new and delete. Actually, they are improved versions. In C++, you can still use C code, but these are improved versions. It was explained very well in that book called Strostrup by C++ author. Now, point is, Java is pretty much evolved from C++ kind of thing. So the people who created Java, that Sun guys that time, now Oracle company, that time it is a C1 Sun. So they actually pretty much did the same thing. Now, actually Java holds all these objects like a pointer, but only thing is we don't use. So to create some space, you need to use that new. In arrays as list, what's happening is internally, implicitly, this entire construct is working like a new operator directly, implicitly.
Okay. So how do you compare over there? Like if I was using list arrays, it requires a new, it's throwing up error if you use the same way.
So there is no much way of thing. It's just all about practice and seeing them some code. Your question is absolutely valid, and actually you can do that way also. What I can do, I'll tell you one more thing. You can just declare new numbers, and other way I can use is, let me use the same thing in a different way. I'm just showing you different ways of approach to make it more clear. So let's say I'll say numbers1, some new array. I will say new
array list.
Actually, yeah, new array list. Yes, array list is a standard we use.
Yeah. So this makes some sense. So you create an object.
Wait. This is generics actually. We are not only discussing. Only thing is like this.
No, you need to write integer inside.
Not required. That is generics.
No, it won't work. See?
Well, let's see. No, it will not work. Not because of that import.
Okay.
See, you can write integer here. Okay, that is one thing.
Yeah.
In Java 5 or whatever, Java 5 means 1.5, you just remove this. This is called generic. It is there in tutorials point. Only thing is I'm not explaining because every thing is like in Telugu, there is something called penta, means extra waste. Generic. So you don't need to put specifically, and Java implicitly understands all the stuff, all those things is there. Some kind of discussion and all those things. But see, certain times, if you see anyone in the job place, the way they write code, they don't write array list or this thing. I'll tell you one more example. Since we are discussing about some specific stuff, all of you, if you don't understand this last 2-3 minutes of discussion, it's fine.
No,
because
I
this
think
is
they can
something
follow. It's very
specific to
important.
Ilyas Ahmad I'm discussing. Now let me use the typical job level code we use. Typically, you or me. String. Some object you want to use. Or for example, you want to just use some integer for a hash map. This is actually a hash map. I'm starting with the interface. I will say map1. And while doing the instantiation, instead of tree map, I normally use hash map. That's how everyone does.
Yeah.
This is how you will see the job level code. Error is coming because you need to import. That's a different thing. Import hash map. So use with the ID all tricky things. Why still error?
I think you need to put over here. You do need to put.
No, nothing. Come on, man. We have done
Really?
so many times, so many things.
Okay.
Can't infer. Actually, not required. I did in IntelliJ Ultimate Edition. Still it's saying error. It is saying error not for this. It's saying error for importing this. Import
Okay.
map.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Java, this is actually one good thing with Java. That's how it makes people complete it. Now, if you see here, there is no error. The error it's saying is warning, like we have not used.
Correct.
If you see here, we just need to type string and integer. I think let's do all the discussions here only. Extended is only when it's really required. So thing is, actually I'm writing this string comma integer. Instead of avoiding all this bullshit stuff, this is called generics in Java. You just put it plainly like this. So that way you save time. Typically in your job, you will see code like this if you are declaring something. Now, to come to the above level of numbers, what normally we have to do? Numbers 1 dot add integer 2. Like this you can do. This is one way. Other thing is numbers 1. Like that you have to add each number. Otherwise, numbers dot, you can add all. You can add a collection together directly. So there are various ways you can do. There are so many methods. So here in that example, what that guys have done is this. You just take it directly and then add. So if you don't understand this way, you can do the way, add yourself everything one by one.
Yeah.
See, these things, that's the thing with the development, right? If you really want to be a developer, you have to keep on doing development, keep on doing practicing code, keep doing, whether you like it or not. If you don't do it, then you will lose in touch. More than losing in touch, you will don't know certain things. But if you want to go more like a lead or architect or certain concepts, you will follow the concept overall. See, ultimately what I want in this entire thing, I want to have a list, basically array list with some numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, with respect to all others, Subhash, Askari, Anjali, and all three of you, any questions you want to ask on the recent one which I was discussing with Ilyas? If it is confusing for you, you can leave it aside. But if you think you understood something, but you really have questions or you wanted to know something, you can ask me right now.
No, I actually have to go on through the previous. I should see the previous videos. Then I'll get to know about this thing.
No, this is a general thing. You can see the previous video. This is a general thing, general common sense thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a general Java. Okay, yeah, fine. If you don't know any Java stuff before, then see the previous videos. Then you can go on. You can ask me questions, or you can directly ask Ilyas questions. That's fine. Now let's go to completable future. Java, it has so many things. I'm not touching everything. I'm touching very specifically streams, lambda, and then completable feature. There is one site, Balding, explains completable. Okay, these guys are talking about. Let me go to my room. Completable future. Asynchronous computation. So basically, asynchronous means you call something, just leave it aside. Once it is done, you just have some kind of handler or something, then you get the result back. So that you call something and you are not waiting. That is asynchronous, means it's also known as event driven programming, very popular with Node.js. Node.js became popular with that. So this is one very unique way of working with the threading. This is bit tricky concept of completable feature. I'll try to simplify to certain things. So at least you know the term called completable feature means asynchronous programming. I think this guy explained so much. It's maybe even Elias might feel very tough with this.
It is tough, man.
But this way you will see the actual code in your job place. Yeah, syntax should do enough. So basically, completable feature is again like a generic way. It is one kind of a class or some kind of a implementation. In Java, as we've seen before, in the threading point of view, there is something called callable and future. Future means this asynchronous thing, means you leave it aside. It will result you back. So now one way of using this completable feature is it's a function. Basically, you're creating a thread. You're creating a thread, but only thing is you're not naming it a thread. You're calling it as an asynchronous function, which is nothing but completable feature. So what we are doing in this case is create a feature. This is a syntax, forgot about. Let's focus on concept. In again Java, there is something called executor thread pool. It means you can say for your program, let's say you're running your program on a very high-end machine, something like octa-core, whatever, very good machine, which is having multiple CPUs, all those stuff. Now you can say you have pretty much some 30 threads or whatever. Here we have not defined, but you can define that. Executors means in Java, it's all Java, pretty much Java 8 and Java 5 concepts mixed together. Concurrency, it's called Java concurrency. So executors means it's like you're saying you have your own thread pool. Thread pool means set of your threads. Now what actually this code is doing is sleeping for 500 milliseconds, nothing but 0.5 seconds. Then after that, you are returning a string called hello. That's what this function does. So basically what this is, it is like a asynchronous function, means you call it, it will, you call it and forget, but you are not waiting for its result. So after 0.5 seconds, you can even put 5,000 so that it will become like 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, you are just getting a result called hello, and actually you are not waiting for it. So this is one simplest example as a concept, because you can go with this into more deep. I don't want to explain all those things, but point I want to illustrate is this much. Say an asynchronous programming. See this they have mentioned. When the computation is done, the method completes the feature by providing the result to the complete method. So basically, you can call this one, which you say complete method. So terminology you can leave it, but point is, this is an asynchronous thing. Bit hard to understand, definitely. I will write few notes. Asynchronous programming. An extension to threading of callable and future. In fact, completable future is a kind of Java future concept. So in this case, 5 seconds. Now the session might disconnected in 2 minutes, so you can just again rejoin. So here the idea is, whatever the function you call, or else you can just say, once this specific function, which is calculate async, is called, after 5 seconds, control is given back without making original function to wait. Once you do the complete usage of this, then you will understand. For right now, you just keep it as a concept. Why I'm saying this? Because it can be asked in some interviews. Explain about threading concepts you know in Java. Doesn't matter whether you know it or not. If you know it, it's better because that's how they look. Then you can explain the earlier threading concepts of multi-threading. Then if you talk a word about completable feature, most people don't even understand, they'll just omit it. But some people are there which will they understand. They might ask some more questions. You just can say, I only use little bit here and there. You can say it that much. But completable feature as an idea is very similar to Node.js. I think the reason they brought all this thing is to combat with Node.js, I think. Yeah. So Node.js, this has some extended concepts also. This one you can see, processing results of an asynchronous computation. So now what's happening is, whatever the completable feature you deploy, you write, you can call it and then say apply. If you see one of our completable feature, what it does, it just returns the character word or something. So these guys are again trying to use Lambda and just adding it. So point is, being a Java 8 feature, you can use other functions of Java 8 very well. But the idea is asynchronous programming. You just remember these things, even if you don't understand the entire programming. I'm sure most others don't even know because they're Fahim. This is, yeah, let me continue with the same thing. I think that was Tahani probably. Let me show this thing, dzone they are given. Actually, this is useless example because you will not use like this, but still this is easy to understand. Syntax wise, it's very complicated. What it is doing is this specific function, this sum function, which is completable feature, means it's like a function. The moment you call, it is just sleeping randomly for some time, giving back you the control. It does that. So this is waste. Now what you are doing, you are calling it. You're calling it. Then you are just checking, is it done or not? Is it done? So basically, this asynchronous way is more like you run some function in the background. Then you try to check it whether it is done kind of thing. So this is one way of usage for completable feature. In my work, where I used this, I used in some Spring Boot microservices. Means you need to have some kind of a REST APIs where it does something and then it can give the result back. But you don't want someone else to wait for it. There we have used completable feature. You can talk more like a reactive Java program. So this is again a deep concept. We will see more into this only when required, but right now I just want to pause it to this very basic level, like how it can work for you. So I'm just keeping it there. Any of you want to ask any questions right now?
Not me.
No, not me either. I'm just observing.
There is new. They need time to go on.
Let's go through the video and
yeah, go on, Anjali.
We'll go through the video and like
if
we have doubts, we'll ask on next class. That'll be
very
fun.
deep concept. It's more like, see, syntax itself like so complicated. I don't like this. Seriously, they are inspired from that Node.js in the JavaScript way. See, traditionally, I'm not a big fan of this kind of coding in this, put too many brackets like the way we do in streams. It's so confusing stuff. But modern programming has become like that. We can't help it. So see this syntax here of completable feature of some complicated example. they're putting like a multiple functions dot dot dot, and within brackets you write some function code, then again in the parenthesis, then again you say executor. This kind of thing, initially when I first saw, what is this bullshit, I thought, because it can confuse so much. And again, when you have executor pool, you can use it directly in a simple way. I have defined executors, or else you have to define your own executor separately with some pool. In this pool, we are saying 3 threads. You are defining it. Then again, you define some specific function to make it more complicated. Then use it. So this is more into threading, but concept is asynchronous programming. That's what I would like to keep it with multiple completable future. In the interview point of view, this much is enough, I feel so. Yes, just let's keep it to this much level. Then no exercise right now I'm doing, because if you just follow the video, that itself enough, or you can just do something. Microservices and then Spring Core. Yeah, next I want to go more into this microservices directly. So what we will do is further. How many of you, except Ilyas, how many of you have some idea about Spring Boot? General idea. What is Spring Boot, or what is a REST API means? Any of you? Except Ilyas. Anjali?
RESTful architectural something. I'm not so sure about that.
Okay, tell me what is REST API means?
No, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. Like I have heard of that, but I have a bit idea, but I don't know.
Yeah,
how
let's
to
see more deep
explain
into
that.
microservices. What we'll see is what is a REST API, that get method, post method kind of stuff, and then what are the basics of REST API. I think I saw one nice resource. Let me just start with that. Fresh. I will just give some quick glimpse right now. W3 resource REST API. This was pretty good. No. In W2 resource doing some very deep stuff, not. So we'll see some basics of typically REST API, and then see more. We'll see some theory probably next class. Then we'll get into microservices, because in the interviews or even in a job, without understanding some theory stuff of here, if you directly get into the microservice programming, all these things, you might not get into any stuff. So we'll see what is a REST API. Then what we will see is we'll see some basics of microservices. There is something called monolithic and microservices. So we'll see these differences of, these are theory stuff. What is a monolithic application? Why is this microservice getting popular? We'll see some general basics about it. REST API, microservice basics. Then creating a REST API, I will just explain generally. You can have a big application, you can have a still REST API in normal way. But the modern technology is all about taking a microservice and having a REST API for that. So they look more into that aspect. We'll see that thing. Then we'll get into the Spring Boot way directly, because Spring Core and Servlet, it might be very too much if you don't understand many other concepts. We'll directly get into the microservices with some basics of REST API and basics of monolithics and what is this microservices getting. Then we'll get into the Spring Boot. That will be the next plan, and that might go up to for next 3 to 4 classes. Then I will give some sample example of Spring Security. So whatever the guys you're getting time, just look at the previous videos and then just practice what are the programs you want to do in core Java or any of these sample programs I just dumped, or even this threading thing is too much. Threading, you just understand the concept, that's enough. Java concepts of streams and data structures and Java collections, you can practice if you want. Any other questions, guys?
No, man.
Askari. Okay, let's pick someone. Okay, Subhash has not joined.
Is this the same Subhash, the one who called?
Yeah, he's a
today?
marketing team. Yes, he's a marketing team in Hyderabad. And Askari, At least you attended 2-3 videos. What did you do till now, man?
I didn't attend any other video than this one.
Do you have access to this video, first of all, both Java and DevOps?
I guess somebody, in fact, in the group, you have given a link to that. I haven't access to that till now.
Okay, you will have access to that. Just try practicing something.
Sure.
Because
Sure
Anjali,
thing.
I know she's busy in some other work, and anyway, Elias is pretty much engaged and asking various stuff. So you can actually just practice something.
Sure
Okay.
thing.
Which session you attended? Today you attended. Then what else you attended? Yesterday's DevOps you attended?
Yeah, I attended.
Before, did
yesterday
you attend
DevOps.
any other discussion?
No, I didn't. I tried when I was out of my house, but my cell phone was tripping. I don't know. I was not able to hear any voice back then, and like 3 days ago.
Okay, let's use few minutes of the time. Let me show a few stuff which I'm showing to the DevOps guys. You also can practice. There is
Sure.
some very nice site called Katakoda. I think at least 2 of you know this. I mean, maybe I'm showing this for Askari. There is something called katakoda.com. What this katakoda.com is, they have KATXCODA.com. I think it's based on Kubernetes, the environment, but you can create your own tutorial if you want. So there are so many people have done so many things. Now, from a developer point of view or even a DevOps point of view, okay, now you're sticking with Java. So from a developer point of view, you can practice few things. Even for a Java developer, Docker kind of thing is important. So you can launch this Docker course just to understand. And typically in the modern way, everyone needs to know about Linux. So you can actually practice this Linux stuff. I'm telling you, Askari.
Sure.
Then continuous integration, continuous delivery. This is more of a CI/CD stuff with Jenkins. I want to show something. These guys also are for Git. Let me search in this. Say Git. They have nice videos. Yes. Learn Git version control. So actually, forget about all this GitOps. GitOps is a very different concept. You can learn the basic Git from this katakoda.com. So how to commit the files, how to commit your changes. I've done some session on DevOps, guys. Maybe we can do some similar session after Spring Boot. Because from a development point of view, more important is Spring Boot.
Right.
If you don't know that, what will you do with Git and other stuff? So this pretty much 8 different scenarios. They cover a lot of stuff. We'll have one DevOps, not DevOps, general Git session maybe after Spring Boot. But first, I want to ensure you guys get the core stuff, at least which you understand the concepts. Because Java is about programming and you need to know how to develop your REST APIs using Spring Boot with microservices. So you guys, I mean, typical Java developers can practice this Katakoda site. It will be looking like this. When you launch any scenario, you can just practice. It is free. You don't even need a login. And you get a session like this. You can just practice. Yeah?
Wow. Okay. So I can practice as well?
Yes, yes. Any of you can practice.
Wow. Nice. This is so nice. Yeah, I will definitely go on this site.
I mean, it's pretty good. So you can develop your own tutorials, I mean, later on. But right now, you can just use whatever these people have done.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
It's okay.
What, man?
I think he's talking to.
It's fine. The kids were around, so.
Yeah, big guy. I think we have older kids. How old is your kid? 2 kids? Okay, whatever. Some new person.
Yeah, he left already, I guess.
Fine. No, he is still there. Subhash joined.
Subhash joined, right.
Yeah, so let me paste this katakoda.com. You can just actually let me copy from the DevOps thing because I exactly put the same stuff there on Katakoda. That's very good. It's too good, this one.
And it's totally free. It's they don't
it's free, totally free. Yes, totally free. Everything is online, totally free.
Wow, nice.
but it's not like everything. You will get some exposure, but not an excellent again.
Excellent.
Again, debatable.
Right.
Okay, Katacoda interactive environment. It's pretty useful one. My opinion. This font. Maybe I'll select Pro. Okay, I will change this kind of stuff later on. Yeah, that's pretty much for now. And if you guys don't have any questions, we can drop off. So next session will focus on Java with respect to REST APIs, microservices, and Spring Boot. Some initial introduction, like what is what, why is this happening? Then we'll get into some kind of a coding.
Sounds
And
good. And it's gonna be same time tomorrow, right? Like the 6 p.m.
Unless I don't get any other classes or any other things, but it will be as of now based on my calendar, which I shared here. Any of you can look anytime. I kept everything, my email in calendar. You can open my calendar anytime. Yes, as of now, this entire week 6 to 7 only. DevOps. No, tomorrow is DevOps, by the way. Do you want to come DevOps?
No, I will rather stick with the Java first.
Then you can come on Friday 6 p.m.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, guys. See you. Bye then.
All right, Raghu. Take care. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, bye Anjali and bye Subhash. See you, Ilyas.
Bye-bye.